Not yet. I'm gonna have it after my meeting.
Lynn,
Yes,
did you get the host key?
no, I did not.
I didn't either.
Ooh.
I don't see it.
Hold on, let me see if I can see if no, I don't have. Yeah, I don't have an option.
Oh, great.
Can you use a past host key? Maybe?
I can try.
I can,
It did it. It did it one of the old ones.
awesome. Aren't I smart?
That shows you how secure this is. Pick a number. Are you the co-host? Lynn?
No, you have to make me host.
You're it.
Okay. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. I'll wait till you tell me it's time to go.
So let me just make sure we got. Yeah, we got a quorum.
Okay.
Yeah, just give him a minute.
Okay.
I don't see Jason. saw Richard Conway, but he's not here now. All right, go ahead. We have a quorum.
Okay, so we'll get started.
All right.
Welcome, everybody. We're gonna start out. Go ahead.
The first item would be a public participation. Is there anyone who wishes to engage in public participation? Hearing none. It's all yours, Lynn.
Okay, we're gonna start with the Wakefield Public Safety Building tonight. We're gonna go through a few administrative actions. We'll be asking for a vote to approve the December 13th Permanent Building Committee meetings on the Public Safety Building. We'll review the December invoices. Also, we'll review Designer Contract Amendment 2, which has not been signed by HKT yet, but we're waiting for that to come back. And we're also going to review construction change order number 11 and give you a quick budget update. And then I'll turn it over to Bond to go through the construction update. We'll talk about some of the phasing dates, the construction progress to date, and the look ahead construction schedule. First up is, and that should be approval of the December 13th meeting minutes.
I move that we approve the December 13th meeting minutes as written.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tom. Any discussion? Hearing none, is there anyone objecting to approval of the minutes of December 8th? Hearing none, minutes are approved.
Next are the December 2022 invoices.
I move that we approve owner project manager Left Field's invoice number 26 dated 12/31 for the sum of $18,500.
Second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none. Chip?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Wayne? Wayne?
Yes.
All right, Richard
Yes.
and Jason,
Yep.
it's unanimous.
I move that we approve commissioning services for Left Field invoice number 26 dated 12/31 for the sum of $810.
I will second that.
Any discussion?
How's the turnout?
Hearing none. Wayne,
Yes.
did you have a question?
No, I'm all set.
Okay. Any further, any discussion? Hearing none. Chip,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Wayne,
Yes.
Jason,
Yep.
Richard.
Yes.
I move that we approve for architectural and engineering basic service HKT Architects invoice 24-022023 dated 1/11/23 for the sum of $18,860.17.
I will second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Chip,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Wayne,
Yes.
Jason,
Yep.
Richard.
Yes.
All right, unanimous.
I move that we, for construction costs for bond building invoice number 12 that we approved dated 12/31/22, that we approve $682,377.71.
Well, I guess I'll second that one. Just a small piece of change.
Very generous of you, Jason.
Thank you.
Okay, any discussion? My only problem is I don't see anybody from Bond on the meeting.
Hey, Joe, it's Phil. I was just gonna ask, do we
Joe,
know
wait a
what percentage this is of the total? I know that's the amount remaining. Do we know what percentage this is being billed through for the project?
We
And
would know when
I'll tell you when we
look on
get to the budget
When we
update.
look at our budget, we'll know.
Okay,
But that's got to be
It's 70% of the contract.
Oh, there's
Thanks, John.
Oh, John, you're on.
Apologies,
It's
Good.
not,
sorry for no video. I thought I could make it home. I'm at a Mass Pike
good luck,
Stop.
yeah.
call.
Oh, well, that should be fun. All right. Any other questions? Hearing none. Chip,
Yes,
Tom,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes,
Mark,
Yes.
Wayne,
yes,
Jason,
Yep,
and Richard.
yes,
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Unanimous. Yep.
Next is designer contract amendment number 2. Back in March, these are the credit services that HKT had told us that they would not be needing as we move forward. So since we're in need of money to fund change orders, I took this proposal they sent in March and developed designer contract amendment 2 in order to recoup these credit services. The total of those services is $55,592.
and Lynn, this is coming out of HKT's budget.
It's money that we had committed for HKT, and it's services that they will not render. So we're taking it back.
And this is going right to which contingency?
It's going to the construction contingency.
To the owner,
Yes, the owner side.
right?
Yeah, we're not giving it to bond.
No.
Well, it seems
We've
like
already
you may
approved our bill.
eventually, but
It gets to them eventually, right? Lynn?
Actually,
right.
well, maybe not, and hopefully not. Any, Janet, I see that you're on.
Yeah, I just got this today, Joe. I don't see any problem with it. I'll take a look.
Okay.
I've been quite sick, so I haven't been in the office for a while. So I'll take a look in the next day or so. Okay.
But as far as you know, you don't see any issue.
I don't
with-
know. This is my letter, and all these things were put in case we needed them. And we decided not to do the additional value engineering and reconciliation, so it doesn't look like anything's going to be a problem.
So, sounds great. All right.
Okay. Yep.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. Chip? Oh, wait a minute. We did.
No, we gotta do
We haven't
it.
moved it. Sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
but Lynn, there's a wording here, right?
I
It's,
would say that you would vote to approve designer contract amendment 2 pending HKT's
Approval.
signature.
Yep.
okay, so I move that we approve designer contract amendment number 2 for the credit total of $55,592 to be moved to owner's construction contingency.
Subject to the approval.
Subject to HKT's approval and inspection of the dollars. And signing this.
Any
All right.
further discussion?
I can second that.
All right, thank
Joe,
you.
Joe, can I just ask, and we're 100% sure we don't need to do any of this in any other way? Like none of this money is gonna need to be spent by someone else?
This was identified back in March as services not needed.
These were all upfront, like during the
Yeah, and
planning
we still
stuff.
have some monies left in the building envelope in case we needed to do some testing in that regard.
and Phil will be doing that with Briggs Engineering outside of HKT's contract
Thanks.
next week. In
Further
fact.
discussion? Hearing none. Chip,
Yes,
Tom,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes,
Mark,
Yes.
Wayne,
yes,
Jason,
Yes,
Richard.
Yes.
Thank you. Approved,
Thank you.
subject to HKT approval.
Next is bond building construction change order number 11 for a total of $59,890. And it consists of the PCOs that you see listed here. And in your packet, you should see the full list.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Chip for the motion?
yes, I move that we approve the bond building construction change order number 11 for the sum of $59,890.
And I will second.
Any discussion at all or questions? I don't think that was a question for us. It was the end of the final message.
Go ahead.
Hey, Wayne,
Whoever,
can you mute your phone?
whoever's doing that, but you
Somebody mute.
themselves.
Wayne,
All right. Chip,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Bill,
yes,
Yes.
Wayne,
Yes,
Jason,
Yep.
Richard.
Yes.
Okay, this is approved.
Okay. Next is the budget status. We've committed 97% to date and have expended 69%. And including pre-construction and construction, including change orders, we are at 66% spent in terms of the construction, which translates into 71% of construction in place because we're holding back the 5% retainage. This includes all of the December invoices, and it also, oh, I didn't mean to do that. It also includes both contract amendment too, so you can see where we stand once we pull those funds out. And it also includes funding of construction, the change order 11, where we pulled it out of construction contingency and put it into the authorized changes category under the construction line. Do you have any questions on the budget? I did want to quickly note before I go to the next slide. Our budget is 12,100,000. However, we had an additional $54,063 that was given to us by DPW as a supplement to the HVAC supplement to the project. I have it still sitting here for our use. I have not transferred it. It does not take any action by the PBC in order to move that money into a category that we need to spend. So you don't see a change order or a contract amendment for that amount. And there's a few other budget lines that we likely will not spend out. Utility company fees for one, some of the other project cost lines. We have those in reserve too, in case we need to transfer monies to help pay to get us through construction.
Any questions regarding that? Hearing none, go ahead, Lynn.
So this puts us as where we stand with the contingencies. The owner's construction contingency, we have $67,737 left, and this is through change order 11. And on the owner's contingency, we have the $90,048 for a total of $157,758. We have pending PCOs out there on the order of $12,632. We have one submitted that has not made its way into a change order yet for $3,042. And then we have a large number of PCOs that have an estimated value of $128,256. When you take all those risks and you subtract it against what we have left in contingencies, that leaves us with a balance of $13,828. And please note that this does include the 59,000 that we moved out, or the 55,000 that we moved out of HKT.
And that became 60, went into the construction, right?
Yes, it did. I pulled out change order 11 out of construction and then went back and put in the 55,592 or whatever it was back in. And so that resulted in the 67,737. So on bond side, the GMP contingency, it started out at 365,235. 103,192 has been approved to date for use, leaving us with a balance of 262,43. We have pending and submitted PCOs against that contingency of 8,014. And then we have other estimated pending PCOs totaling 211,906, leaving a remaining balance of 42,123 on bond side for the GMP contingency. So we're getting low. Like I said, I still have not transferred the 54,000 and probably at least another amount equal to that, if not more, and some of the other budget lines that we likely will not use. You know, we'll evaluate where we are next month. And if we need to move some of those funds, we can do that at that time.
Thank you, Lynn. Any questions? None? Okay. Thank you, Lynn. As indicated, the working group that has been meeting weekly is very aware and concerned regarding these contingencies, to say the least.
We argue every change order considerably if we can, Joe, right? And Chip?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't think we ever approve anything we don't think we should.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I think everybody knows when they put a PCO in front of us that it better be legitimate, especially at this point.
Mhm.
Correct. All right, thank you, Lynn.
So just one quick thing before I turn it over to Bond. Our next PBC meeting for the public safety building is February 9th, unless anybody has any objections to that date.
None that I'm aware of.
And with that, I'm gonna turn it over to maybe Adam wants
believe
to
it's here
address
now.
this one.
Okay.
I can, okay, you want me to take this, Lynn?
Yes, please.
All right, so just a couple of key milestone dates that we're working towards in the near future, some big deliverables for us. First is the vestibule that's kind of been holding up our ability to open the lobby officially. We do have that hardware coming in on Monday, and we will be installing that this week, getting it programmed, finishing the storefront in that area, and pulling the fence back, which will give probably about 7 more parking spaces, including a couple of handicap spaces. So it's going to be what we call a soft start opening, if you will, but we will start using the new lobby, and we will take down the temporary lobby entrances, which are the scaffolding that is currently on Princess Street. The new addition is going very well. Windows are in. We are looking for an occupancy in there on February 27th. It should be done a little bit before that, but that allows some time for furniture installation, the final furniture installation to happen, which is scheduled to start on February 20th. Sally Port is also going to be about the middle of next month. We're showing it as February 13th. It is largely complete. We'll show you photos of that coming up shortly. We're just waiting for the overhead doors to complete that space. Then lastly, an on-site construction completion of all renovations is targeted now for May 15th. That's it for now.
Question of the phasing update. Okay, thanks, Adam.
Bet.
Now to Bond.
Yep. So this first slide here, addition masonry at the exterior completed during the month, all washed down, windows installed. Testing is scheduled for next week. Masonry tower will be going away shortly as well too, just waiting on expansion joint to pull that away. And actually fence line that Adam just referenced will move to about that spot there. On the right-hand side shows the lobby progress. Memorabilia has been hung in the space. As you just mentioned, the electrified door hardware we've been waiting on. It's finally in the shop, getting prepped up, and they're mobilizing on Monday to install that with about a week of flushing things out, security integration. and then the soft opening for the public. Dedication plaques on the left. Next time you're on site, you folks can check out your names along with some of the other memorabilia. On the right-hand side is first floor renovations. This was previously roll call space. Actually, underslab plumbing was installed today, hoping to be inspected tomorrow, and then start laying out walls and MEP rough through that space going into the next couple weeks. This is the opposite side of the wall that we were just looking at. It was previously kitchen lunchroom, now turning into evidence process. We're working with HKT, had a meeting this morning on that existing concrete wall, working to get this space complete so that general evidence on the opposite side of that opening in there can be secured and PD can start their move down of items from the third floor. And then on the right-hand side is that general evidence space. It's actually been cleaned since then, floor sealed, coordinating with Donegan Systems, just got approval today to furnish, install new shelving, 20 new racks for them to move items down to. Next two photos are all about second floor renovations. Corridor has been taped and sanded, first coats, primer on. Again, this is out of date. Ceiling grid has been installed since, and mechanical rough into that point. Right-hand side is the new lunchroom, just adjacent to roll call. Appliances delivered, no work installed, preparing for last touches, resilient base, and then final cleaning, and that space will be ready for occupancy soon as well, alongside the addition. Left-hand side of this, Chief Scory, this is actually your office. Indicative of pretty much all the spaces in the addition. Ceiling grid's been installed. Some have actually been flooded. Permanent lights are going on. Doors and hardware are in. Again, getting everything ready for February 20th furniture move-in and give HKT plenty of time to go through and punch. Right-hand side is Sallyport. As Adam mentioned, waiting on the overhead doors. Those are confirmed for February 1st. Along with that, there's a dividing partition that goes down the middle. That's also that same week. Wrapped up some of the storage closets. We'll be boarding the ceilings in there and doors being installed, and that renovation will be, or extension will be complete. Left side, north elevation. During the last month, brick surrounds and new windows or replacement windows have been installed. This is also scheduled for testing. And then right-hand side, just one more look at the addition complete. Ready for that stair tower to go and move over the fence line.
Thank you. Any questions regarding the progress? Hearing none, go ahead, Jonathan.
I won't go through every item, kind of hit on them a lot there, but as you can tell by the photos, we're all over the building. Big thanks to the departments for accommodating this request, moving into swing spaces, freeing up additional work so we can continue moving on. Next few weeks are all about wrapping up the addition and adjacent interior renovations, leading into that furniture move-in date of the 20th. Sallyport extension, last couple items for mid-February. And then over the next month, so HVAC replacement units, rooftop units, shipped this week. We had a big coordination meeting with everyone involved yesterday about tackling the scope. That's going to begin first week of February. Rooftop units, chillers, interior air handling unit pumps all coming in the next 6 weeks or so for replacement. Temporaries were delivered actually today and set up. Ductwork's in place. We're going to do a test fire, make sure that all works next week before the units get pulled. And then last remaining phases, once we free up the addition, is once evidence moves down to their new location in the basement, and then a couple other offices down on the first floor, turning into locker rooms and janitor's closets. If there's any specific questions on activities, happy to address them.
Is there any questions or discussion? All right, hearing none. Thank you, Jonathan.
So that's it for the public safety building?
All right, before we go, Chief Scory.
Nothing, Joe. Everything's moving along well. And,
Okay.
happy with everything.
Okay, great. Deputy Chief Calabrese.
No, everything's going well. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ray. All right, anybody else in the public safety? Adam, did you have something?
No, all set. All set. Thanks, Joe.
Okay. Anybody else in the public safety building? Thank you, everyone. We now move to the high school. Okay, Len, thanks.
Can you see that?
It's coming.
It says you started. There you go. There it is.
Got it.
All right. So moving on to the high school project. Are you going to take public comment again?
All right. Is there any public participation regarding the high school project? Anyone? So here.
Okay.
All right. I guess not. All right.
Okay, first up, we're going to go through some administrative actions. Again, this is review of the December 13th meeting minutes and approval of the monthly invoices, a quick budget update, then a quick look at the project cost update and we're sharing some of the slides that the town is going to be presenting in terms of tax impact, and a quick review of upcoming meetings and overall schedule. First up is the December 13th Permanent Building Committee, School Building Committee meeting minutes.
Do I hear a motion for approval?
What's the right date? Is it the 8th or the 13th?
It is the 13th. It was originally scheduled for the 8th, but
That's
we
right.
actually held the
Okay.
meeting on
Yeah.
the 13th.
I move that we approve December 13th, 2022 Permanent Building Committee, School Building Committee meeting minutes as written.
I second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Any opposition to approval of the minutes? Hearing none. Minutes are approved.
I will revise these slides before we post them too, so.
Okay, good. Don't worry about it.
uh,
See who
next-
picks, let's see who picks up on it.
Right.
I didn't earlier, so that was
Who can remember back that far? Come on.
that's far too bad. Yes.
I
way
know
too-
that's what happens, and then you go back and look at the calendar and realize that we changed it. But anyway,
I move that we approve OPM feasibility study schematic design for left field invoice number 20 dated 12/31/22 for the sum of $5,000.
I will second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Chip,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Wayne,
yes,
Jason,
Yes.
Richard,
yes,
unanimous.
I move that we approve architectural engineering feasibility study and schematic design for SMMA invoice 00585572 dated 1/10/23 for the sum of $10,125.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Chip,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Wayne,
yes,
Jason,
Yes.
Richard,
yes,
unanimous.
I move that on environmental and site for SSMA for CDW Consultants invoice dated 00585572 dated 1/10/23 that we approve the sum of $2,645.50.
Second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Chip,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Wayne,
yes,
Jason,
Yes.
Richard,
yes,
unanimous.
I move on environmental and site for SSMA GM2 Associates invoice number 00585572 dated 1/10/23 for the sum of $32,489.05.
And I will second that.
Helen, what is, or Lynn, what is GM2 Associates? What was this for?
traffic consultants.
Oh, okay. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none. Chip,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Wayne,
yes,
Jason,
yes,
Richard,
yes,
and unanimous.
Okay, thank you. A quick overview of the budget. You can see here in the budget, total project budget status report, I included all of the costs for the next phase that MSBA approved at their December 21st meeting, and that we're asking the town to approve in a two-step process beginning January 28th, and then the ballot election sometime in March. But I filled in those budget categories so you could see where we're at, but we're still up in the first box up here in the feasibility study agreement box. And we have committed 87% to date and expended 83%. And if you notice both the OPM and the AE cost, we have expended 100% of our costs for this phase. I think that there is some additional environmental site work that you may see next month, but in terms of invoicing, but it looks like we may have some remaining funds as we move into the next phase.
So Lynn, essentially, at the end of this phase, we'll have approximately 250,000 or so, something in that range.
Maybe thereabout. I do know we have a little bit more traffic work that we should be seeing a proposal coming up.
Okay. All right.
So, but yes, as of right now, we have 267,752 of uncommitted money.
And that money then is used, approved on January 28th to the next phase and the ballot question, is that correct?
Yes, we can roll it over into the next phase.
Okay. Any other discussion regarding that budget?
And this is a cash flow projection. I just wanted to quickly show you that we did do a cash flow for the remainder of the project for the 273,953. Can't really read it, it's too small, but I did project it all the way out to completion of the project, and this cash flow was what was used to help with the tax impact that you'll see in a few minutes. A quick update at the December 21st. Yes,
You said 273,000. Did we get a price reduction at some point?
Yeah,
million,
Ron just gave
million,
it-
sorry.
gave it to us.
I got all excited for a couple of
I know,
minutes.
calm
Million.
down, Chip.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting too excited here.
I'll calm down.
All right, good.
But I did want to say that at the December 21st MSBA board meeting, they did increase their cost per square foot for construction from $360 to $393 a square foot. And they also changed how they calculated site reimbursement. Instead of 8% of the construction value, they are reimbursing up to a maximum of $39 a square foot. This helped us get a little bit more money from MSBA. They'll be now giving us roughly about 65 million in terms of a grant to the town, which makes the town share now 208,000, just
Million.
over 208 million, sorry. I did want to note that we have 13.2 million in contingencies. And the intent would be, and if you see how the town has laid out the bond schedule, they're going to bond in three rounds, and their last bond is roughly the amount of the contingency here, in hopes that you know, we don't need to spend the contingency, and that would be a savings to the town. We do know we have some value engineering that if the project passes, we'll be looking at as we move forward in design development, all in an attempt to make this as efficient of a building and as physically responsible as possible. So this is,
Yep.
I
Yeah,
just had wanted
John?
to ask, yeah, on that contingency note, like, how often do we have a material amount of money left at the end of a project like this? I imagine, as we're seeing in the public safety building, right? Contingencies usually get eaten up, right? I'm just wondering, I understand it could be upside for the town, but do we really want to present to people, or is this something that we're thinking about presenting, that this could be savings, and put it out there if it's not something that's, you know, more likely than not? I'm just wondering how you guys
So-
think about that.
Well, John, we have put that out there in the previous presentations, the presentation of the school committee. And not only is that contingency of 13 million, Lynn, as I recall, there are other contingency, including about,
We have a fairly high design and pricing contingency
Right.
as well as an escalation contingency. So the hope would be as we go through the next phase of design development, you know, we look for value management in the project, and that maybe we don't use all of the projected escalation or design and pricing contingency. And, you know, hopefully we're able to pare the number down somewhat. We don't know that for sure, which is why we went in very conservative with what our costs were, because we knew we couldn't come back to the town for more money. But I do have a project in Waltham right now, a $375 million job, and we have not touched any of the $24 million in contingency, and we have about 11 months to go. So it can be done. It takes everybody working together to do it, and SMMA is on that project as well. So you know, there is the opportunity, and that's why I think that the town decided to do their bonding the way that they did, in hopes that, you know, maybe we can have some savings on that last bond round.
Okay, that makes sense. That's good to hear. You got that other big project with savings coming in. So, okay,
And
thank you.
the key to that big project is that SMMA is the architect on that.
Yeah.
Because in quite honesty, that the contingency is basically, as we've seen in the public safety building, the contingency is only there as good as your architects are, right? And the architect will always tell you there's no such thing as perfect drawings, but the closer you get, the less contingency is spent. So I am optimistic from what Lynn has seen in Waltham with SMMA, because that's really who it's on, that they're making it through. So I feel confident that we're going to need some of it, but probably not all of them.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
So a quick preview of what you'll see at the January 21st public forum, Saturday morning at 10, and then also what Mr. Mayo is going to be presenting at the special town meeting on January 28th. Now I'll quickly go through these because he will speak to them directly, but I'll give you a few highlights. Basically here, they've looked at both a 4.25% bond rate as well as a 5.5%. And they looked at it over a range of assessed property values. And as you can see, for the first couple of years, several years actually, the cost annually to the homeowner is very low. And it doesn't start to hit its maximum until around, 2028. And then it ramps up, and then it'll start to ramp back down again through the life of the bonds. And this is just an example. We have replaced the tax impact calculator that we originally had on the website with this, so you should be able to go back onto the website and fill in your assessed property value and get to what you should end up paying annually as your tax rate. One thing that's been very important is a benefit for seniors, a tax discount program where the town matches 150% of the state senior circuit breaker income tax credit. And there's a potential of about 1,800 per year in tax relief for qualified seniors. And then to the right here is just an example of that relief. And then other factors that hopefully will help to bring down the long-term tax impact to citizens is, impact of new growth. And Mr. Mayo will talk more about that as well. And then some of the real cost of a failed vote, or the cost of doing nothing, is a risk for loss of accreditation from NEAC. I don't know. I forget the names, what that stands for. Doug, you might help me here. New England Association.
The New England Association of Schools and Colleges.
Schools and colleges. Then there will be work that needs to be done, and it would likely be a piecemeal of capital expenditures, nothing that they could do in terms of wholesale, and it would be all on the town's dime. Also, it'd be very difficult to do wholesale accessibility throughout the building, given, only having a certain amount of finances in order to, once you hit a certain percentage of cost on renovating a building, you're going to have to bring the whole building up to current accessibility codes. And then, if there is a failed vote, it's likely you could be 5, 6 to 10 years out before you would ever be able to get back into the MSBA pipeline. And then even if we did enough to band-aid the building to keep it going, there would be no improvements to the delivery of education. And that's one of the key reasons for the new building, is to get up to date with and to meet the educational program needs. And then one of the highlights of a new school is helps with property values, and schools that are in need of repair often bring reductions in property values, as well as reductions in state education funding. So those are a few of the reasons that you would want to vote yes. In terms of
any other hold on, Lynn, are there any questions regarding the presentation that has been shown by Lynn?
Can you go back to that first slide, Lynn, with the tax impact, please? Yeah, that's huge. Like these numbers are like hugely different than what's been out there. This is great. I think this is really so important. Like, look at these first 2-year numbers, right? Like we've been looking at, well, everyone's been thinking $1,000, $1,100 a year for the whole thing. This really paints a different picture to this. So good job to Jen and Steve, whoever put, or Lynn, Tim. I'm not sure who put this one together, but I think this is a really good slide.
I think once we were able to put together a cash flow, this kind of really helped them strategically put together a bond purchasing program, which really has benefited the town.
And the cost of doing nothing slide is also another great slide. It's just reality, like that this is what happens if you don't do something. So a lot of, any of the naysayers around are trying to point out that it's a fear maneuver to tell people reality. But like, I think that's a great slide that's being shown to people, the reality of not doing something. Like, it's always good to know what happens if you don't do something when you have a choice. So I think this is a good slide too.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, Lynn.
Okay. Then just a quick overview of what we have coming up. We've put the Traffic Advisory Committee, the next meeting, on hold until after the project is approved. I think we had a working session, I believe a week or so ago, a couple weeks ago, where I think we've gone as far as we can until there's a project. We have our public forum number 12 coming up on Saturday, January 21st at 10 a.m. And then we have our special town meeting on January 28th. There is a date here for the ballot election of March 11th. Please note that this is not a confirmed date yet. Town council still has to vote on that date.
Yeah, that's a tentative date that is a possibility.
Yes, I meant to include tentative by that, and I will do that before we post it.
Can
Okay,
people vote early for these special votes, or is it only on that day?
I think it's only on the day of the Galvin, we all went to the field house for the ballot election. So I assume everybody is probably gonna go to the Galvin for this, just as I don't know if state law allows you to have early balloting. I know
So Joe, there will be absentee balloting available.
they're
for people.
absentee, but not
Thanks, Jonathan.
absentee, but not early.
State law now allows for no excuse absentee balloting. So, if you just don't want to show up on the date of the election, you can still go to town hall and fill out an absentee ballot at the clerk's office. And they'll have the information about when that is once hopefully an election is scheduled.
Thanks, Jonathan.
No problem.
Yep.
Just also to let people know, so if the project is approved by town meeting, I expect that we'll call a special town council meeting for that following week so we could set the date of the ballot election sooner rather than later. So certainly before the next PBC meeting on the 9th, again, if the project's approved by town meeting, we'll have the date confirmed for the ballot election.
Any other questions or comments regarding the schedule? Lynn?
Okay, and that's it. That's all I had.
Okay. Is there anyone else regarding the high school project? Doug, Lyons, and or anyone?
No, I think you've covered it all. We're
Okay.
ready for Saturday. We have a plan A and a plan B. In the event that we have snow, I don't think we're gonna have enough snow to stop us, but I think we're in a good place. I think Tim O'Brien is all over it, and I think we're ready, Joe. Thank
Sounds
you
great.
for asking.
Thanks, Doug. All right, anybody else? If not, I will gratefully accept a motion to adjourn and leave meeting. Don't hear it yet.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Jason. Second, all in favor? Goodbye.
Night, everybody.
Take care,
Thank
everyone.
you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.